going on, everybody? Welcome and good morning. Today is Tuesday. It's November 15th, 2022. My name is Jeremy. This is my first cut. Black tea this morning. I rarely do that. So rare. I want to say good morning to Mark, Tommy, Stacy, Frank, and all the rest of you out there, whether you're watching now, maybe watching later. I appreciate you coming by. It is so cold out there. It's below 20. I'm not sure because my thermometer is falling down, and I didn't feel like going outside to check it because it's so cold. But Google says it's 20, so it's probably 18. Remember, like 2 weeks ago, it was 75. That was nice. I missed that. Oh, good morning, Sean. Good morning, Brian. Who else is here? Yeah. So he is someone that a few of us know, but just going to shout out Bruce, who trains at the Taekwondo school I grew up in, who earned his black belt last night. I was sad I couldn't make it. Had a meeting. I couldn't move. But just looked at some pictures. Looked like he did a great job. He's a super nice guy. Jenny said it was 70 on Friday. Yeah, it got cold fast. Got cold very fast. So yesterday, as soon as I was done with First Cup, I was in the car. I was driving within 15 minutes of the end of First Cup to get back up here for a day of meetings, and I was exhausted. I'm still exhausted. I went to bed. I was in bed before 8, and I'm still exhausted. Probably going to go to bed early tonight as well. Can I take a nice nap in the middle of the day? Let's check that. I think more complicated because it's cold. I don't want to go outside in the cold. On the plus side, I found out, here I can delete this, found out that I was scheduled to be giving this all-day course yesterday on time management at an area economic development center. And they canceled it. They didn't have as many people sign up as they hoped for, which was a bummer. It's not like it was going to make me much money, a couple $100, but I like doing that sort of stuff. If you've ever seen me teach, you know I enjoy it. And teaching about things that are not martial arts is also fun. But that means tomorrow is pretty open. Don't worry, I'm not going to plug other stuff in there. I can delete that. I already did that. I have 2 calls. That's it. I'll unpack the car. I'll take a nap. It'll be great. I'm going to love it. And then hopefully, knock on wood, when I see you tomorrow morning, I will be well rested. Did you guys check out yesterday's episode of Martial Arts Video with Joe Johnson? Sensei Joe Johnson? I'm curious if anyone did, because I want to know if you had the same reaction that I did, this idea that this man started at such an extreme in a way and went to the complete other end of, it's about violence, right? Like in anger. And he started as such an angry person and was an angry person for so long. And martial arts changed that. And we know this stuff. We talk about this stuff, but to hear someone say, yes, this is my story, it's pretty powerful. And to hear that from someone that I know who I can't imagine being angry or violent, it's just so interesting. Stacy says, enjoy the day. I'm still feeling this weekend and didn't do nearly what you did. Well, you did quite a bit. Don't dismiss your stuff. Stacy absolutely crushed. Oh, and we have an awards meeting tonight, our final awards meeting for this season. And I'm also more used to it. So, yeah, I'll be recovering this week, and I knew I would be. Jenny says, I'm cooking my Thanksgiving dinner this weekend because of my schedule with the kids. I'm getting started with some of the recipes today. Oh, nice. I'm glad I eat turkey again. So for those of you who don't know, I spent quite a few years practically vegan. It didn't quite work. I added fish back in. That got better, a lot better. And then over the last few years, the quality of fish that I have available to me, quality went down and price went up considerably. And it wasn't good fish. I was like, I'm not eating the protein I need. I spent a lot of time with it, and I eat turkey again. And 2 to 3 of my meals a day since have involved turkey. I love turkey. I've always enjoyed turkey. I don't know if I'm going to get sick of turkey. We will see. Thanksgiving. I like a good Thanksgiving turkey. I have probably half a dozen turkey breasts in the freezer from last Thanksgiving, because by the time Thanksgiving's over, anything left over is really cheap. So, yay. Cheap food. Stacy hasn't listened. I hope you all get a chance to listen to Joe's episode. It's pretty solid stuff. What else should we talk about? If you did attend one of the free training days, don't forget that all of the merch, the shirts, the hoodies, the patches, the notebooks, all that stuff is available through this week. We're going to take that down early next week. So just be aware, because we don't want to have that overlapping with holiday promotions, which will start end of next week, because Thanksgiving is almost here. Isn't that crazy? Thanksgiving will be here end of next week. We're a week and a half out. Kind of insane, but it's true. Mark says, great episode with Joe. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. He's a good man. Stacy says, the best part of Thanksgiving meal, the turkey soup. I won't call it the best part, but it's a good part. When I take one of these turkey breasts that I cook up and chop down or whatever's left goes in the crock pot for 24 hours and just sits there and simmers and becomes bone broth soup. And I strain out whatever I feel like straining out, pulling bones. And that's 3 to 4 meals right there. Put some other stuff in it. Call it a day. Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Kelly. Kelly asks, has anyone tried a turducken? I've never had one. I know what it is. For those of you who don't know, it's a turkey's on the outside, and then I think usually it's the chicken is next. The chicken is stuffed in the turkey, and then the duck stuffed in the chicken. And I don't know if there's anything to it beyond gimmick, because I've never had it. So I will have to defer to others. There was someone's done a dessert. I've seen this kicked around kind of like this, and it's a pie inside of a cake. There might be another layer, but this idea of Russian doll enveloping of one food to the next, I think is kind of fun. Stacy, I got you covered. Stacy reached out and said, let me know how to order bundles that are left. I got you covered. We'll take care of it. I hear you. We'll make it happen. Jenny says, turkey soup and turkey croquettes are how I use up leftovers, if there are leftovers. Good morning, Dennis. He's apologizing for the late start. No need, my friend. Just jumped off the treadmill. You need a laptop or something on the treadmill. Tammy says, trash can turkey is amazing. I've never had trash can turkey. I'm assuming that's a method of frying it? Use a big metal trash can to fry it, right? I've never had fried turkey. I've heard it's awesome. Yeah, I don't know why. Nobody I've ever had Thanksgiving with has ever wanted to do that. Mark says, it's amazing to me that martial arts can change a person in such an opposite direction than perceived by the general public. Being around good people, doing good things. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff to watch. And Mark, as an instructor, I'm sure has seen growth in his students as they come through. Had the chance to work with quite a few of his students this past weekend for the teacher training. And there was definite growth there. A couple of them it was night and day from beginning to end. It was quite powerful. All right, Tammy says, for trash can turkey, they cover it with the can, put charcoal around the can, 3 hours. Oh, okay, so it's not fried. That sounds pretty cool. I would definitely get down with that. It's like barbecued turkey. But it reminds me, they do that in Hawaii with pigs, right? They bury them in the sand with the coals and do that as that's the traditional food for a luau, isn't it? Yeah. I'm watching this computer try to throw all these updates at me, and I'm saying, no, we don't need to do this right now. So we're going to jump in. Frank sent over some stuff, 3 quotes about expectations. Now, unmet expectations can be a big source of pain. So we'll do that in just a moment. I do want to thank him for all of his work on the show, and I want to thank Josh for our theme song. Mark says about his students, wow is all I can say about the growth from this weekend. You should have seen things yesterday. If you get a chance, if you want to send over a quote or two for us to use in marketing for the teacher training with some specifics of what you saw, I would love that. That would mean a lot to me. All right. I lit a fire in the stove yesterday. First time I've done that this year. It was nice. I was cranking the heat. Here. I had the heat cranked, and it was just, the house had been cold all weekend because I hadn't been here in 4 days. And it was up to 70, 72, and just the bones of the house were still so cold, and it wasn't working. I said, you know what? Forget this. So I lit a fire, and within an hour, the place was nice and toasty. Temperature didn't go up that much. If you have a wood stove, you understand. There's a different quality to that heat versus any other form of heat. It's not the same. There's something really nice about it. All righty. Quotes. When you learn to accept rather than expect, you'll have fewer disappointments. It's from Unknown. Now, sometimes people will read this and they'll hear something like this and they'll be cynical. Well, you should have expectations. You should expect people to do things because you're holding boundaries and setting standards for them. Well, there's a difference. I could hope or tell people or let them know that I think it's important for them to come to this show, for you to come here and have a cup of coffee or tea with me in the morning. But if I expect certain people or a certain number of people, I get disappointed. Now, that happens. There are days where, what do we have now? We have 16. I saw as high as 18 concurrent viewers. That's the nerdy industry. Make me happy. It's at my expectation. We're meeting expectations. But we've had days, like I think it was yesterday, we were at 7 or 8 for most of the show. That's not what I expected. It makes me sad. If I don't have an expectation, I can't be sad. Right? Obviously easier said than done. But the more we can walk back those expectations. How many people step into a martial arts class and expect they're going to be great at it day one, or they expect they're going to earn a certain rank by a certain time, or they're going to perform in a certain way at a testing or a competition, and that unmet expectation makes them really upset, maybe even gets them to quit. That's not good. We don't like that, right? It's something that I think a lot of schools could do a better job of, is not talking about expectations, not setting out timelines, but rather focusing on, hey, show up, have fun, keep learning. The rest of it's going to happen. Tommy says, nothing will ruin a relationship faster than unmet expectations. Yeah, without a doubt. Kelly responds to Tommy, growing up, we had a wood stove. Oh, we've got a few conversations going. And after dinner, after working on the farm, my brother would actually lay on the floor by the stove and fall asleep. It was always a challenge. Who was going to get closer to the stove, him or the dog? I love it. I love it. Tasty tea. All right, our next quote. It's your own expectations that hurt you, not the world you live in. Whatever happens in the world is real. What you think should happen is unreal. So people are hurt by their expectations. You're not disappointed by the world. You're disappointed by your own projections. Jacques Fresco. There are moments in our training where we have no choice but to not have expectation. How about sparring someone better than you? Do you have time to expect anything other than maybe, hey, this is going to be challenging? There are hands and feet flying at you, and you just got to respond. You have to be in the moment. You have to remain present. You can't get it wrong. Maybe you can be disappointed if you think, oh, well, today's the day. But I've sparred plenty of people that I know are much, much better than me. And I come out of that exchange going, hey, it went well. I did okay. I had no idea how it was going to go. The events that we put on, I try to go in without expectations. I go in with hopes. I think the best example is numbers. A bunch of people might ask me, how many people were there? How many people were there? I know we set another attendance record, but I'm not quite sure by how much. We'll do that counting. Andrew and I have a meeting later today. I'll do that counting later as I look through the forms. But there were some people who had like real expectations. I really think you're going to have this many people. It's easy to get disappointed. I really expect that, this person or this thing or this money or this occurrence. There's a difference between holding tightly to expectations and challenging things, being challenged, setting goals, working towards things. If I set a goal of, I'm going to win this competition, what do? Hopefully, I invest my energy into training for that. I could just sit there and imagine what it's going to be like and not train because it's just going to happen. Because I know it's going to happen. Because why wouldn't it happen? Because I'm better than everybody. And then it doesn't happen. In fact, there's a moment where not only was an unmet expectation catastrophic for someone that I used to compete against, but I had no expectations other than to perform well, and it was pivotal for me. Back as a kid, there was this person who used to clean up in the weapons division. He was my age, maybe a year older, and he always won first place. And it was very frustrating because it was as if first place was already spoken for. And this happened tournament after tournament after tournament. And instead of complaining about it or trying to do anything else, but my mother, who was my coach back in my tournament years, said, well, two things. We just need to work harder. And if you beat him, I'll buy you a new hat. I was a teenager. I liked hats. And so I just kept working harder. And a couple tournaments passed. And then one day, I even remember the tournament. I even remember the hat. He got third. And I remember the look on his face. It's like, what just happened? Never saw him again. Never saw him again. He expected to win because he had been winning. That unmet expectation was so tragic for him that someone with tremendous talent at the time, he was certainly better than me. He left. I wonder what he's doing. Bet he's not training anymore. Frank says this last quote here is his favorite. All right. There are no unrealistic goals, only unrealistic deadlines. Brian Tracy. If I tell you my goal is to save $1 million at some point in my life, that's reasonable. I could find a way to do that. Might be 90 when it happens. But if I tell you my goal is to have $1 million saved by the end of tomorrow, that's pretty challenging. That's all but impossible. Right? Goal setting is great. And I don't want anyone to think that because we're talking about expectations and unmet expectations, that setting goals is not a good thing. Having goals that are reasonable, putting deadlines on them, and being willing to invest the time and the energy into accomplishing those goals is important, and it's appropriate. Goals are generally something you do for yourself. Expectations usually involve other people, don't they? I'm not going to set a goal for you. You need to set the goal for you. If I set a goal for you, that's really code for me setting an expectation. I'm expecting you're going to do this. If you don't do it, now I'm unhappy. We can't control other people. We can only control ourselves. I can control my training. I can control how much preparation I put into a class I'm going to teach, or my physical training when I show up to anything. I have control over those things. Don't have control over what other people do. And one of my favorite things about martial arts is it really doesn't matter what other people do. I can invest 100% of my energy into my own stuff, and I'm going to get better. The more energy I carve off worrying about other people, the worse the results. So there we go. Tea came out good. So I'm going to suggest to challenge you as you go through your day. If you find that an interaction with someone is disappointing, painful, it angers you, hurts you, take a look at the expectation, the unmet expectation that came from that. What was it that they did or didn't do that you thought they wouldn't do or would do? It doesn't mean we're going to be free of these expectations. I expect that if I spend time with people that care about me, they're not going to stab me. I have that expectation. Maybe it's not conscious, but it's still an expectation. I'm not preemptively defending myself from a knife attack by my friends. To have that expectation unmet would be painful, both physically and emotionally. So it's not like we're going to get rid of that, but we can temper it. We can be reasonable with it. And we can try not to let it control our actions and our responses. Tommy says goals are essential and people need to learn resting isn't quitting. Oh, I like that. And Kelly says, for my students, when they are 6 months from first degree black, which is their goal, they need to write and tell me what they think they need to do to get ready for that and their plan. I like that. Brian says, I had assumptions in my mind about how Free Training Day would go. I was shocked and in awe of the reality of the event. And what if you go next year expecting to be shocked and in awe, and it's not quite as good? You might be sad. But what if that was the first one you went to? You'd probably think, wow, this is pretty cool. Right? Most things can't keep getting better. Most things have a peak, a maximum. Keep that in mind. I want to thank everybody for coming by. Thanks for your time on the show. We do it every weekday, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. If you want to support, the best thing you can do is join the Patreon. I'll probably put something up on the Patreon. I've got some photos. People sent me some photos. It starts at $2 a month. It goes up from there. If you're a school owner, you should definitely be in the School Owners Mastermind. There's no better value to you improving your school than that. Oh, and as an aside, if you want me to work one-on-one with you, we can do that too. We've also got the code FIRSTCUP15. You pick something up at whistlekick.com, even if it's Free Training Day stuff. Like, go grab that. 15% off. And we've got the family page, whistlekick.com/family. Most of you are family. You should be checking out that page. That's my little bribe to you to do all the things in there that help us out. Reviews and posts and follows and things like that. All right. Thank you. And I will see you back here tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Peace.